Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. We're headed to the Commonwealth cabin. So this is a topic I have purposely avoided talking about because I talked about it like 2 years ago and I just got, let's just say people didn't agree with it. And I think people won't agree with it today, but I really truly think it is the case in most of these circumstances that I'm going to talk about today. But we did have 26 sales headed out of here today, 23 of them on eBay. Let's go take a look. So as many of you know, if you watched the last video, I was talking about doing, well, let me show it to you. Since the first item is in this bin anyways that's sold. I talked a lot about going through old inventory, clearing out the underbrush, even getting rid of a couple things completely, and then bundling things up and doing different things, selling on Shop Commons, putting stuff on Dibdit Lives, whatever it is, clearing out that stuff that hasn't sold. Talked about 30% off sales, talked about all kinds of stuff. And this, 2 videos ago, was a mess. Last video, it was fine. This last video was a mess. This video, it's fine because we've done that. But in the process, I have found things that were not listed on eBay. And that's what I want to talk about today. But of course, I got to pull a few things as well. So we'll talk about it as I pull. This is a pretty cool looking phone. Doesn't look cool here because it's not attached at the top. And this I got. Mike, Death Pile Picker, did a private pick when he was up here. And he sold me some stuff because he was traveling. And this was one of the things he sold me. And he gives me a good price as usual. And this one sold for $47.45. I believe this is an international sale. I'm not sure I mentioned this on the last video, but there were 4 items in that bottom shelf that were not listed on eBay. 4. And we went through this this middle shelf. And there were also 4 items that weren't listed at all on eBay. They weren't listed on any of the sites that we have. So the initial reaction from folks when they find that is, hey, eBay's delisting my stuff and they're not even telling me they're doing it. And to be honest with you, I don't have a perfect answer for you, but I'm going to give you my answer from the past where I've diligently gone through and researched these things and looked at my phone and other things. And I've determined that almost all of the time I can determine that it was user error. It was my fault. It wasn't eBay's. But there are some cases that just I cannot explain whatsoever. And I know there's people out there who think, and there's some people who think that they know that eBay has done this. And that's what I want to talk about today. Look at me selling glass, y'all. I have done way better than I thought I would, and I'm learning. And that piece back there is what sold, so I'm going to have to dig it out. All right, I found it. It is, or dug it out, I should say, an Indiana glass fairy lamp. And hey, that just makes me excited. I paid $5 for this one. And it sold for $29.95 plus shipping. So last time I did this video, I didn't even do it in a video like as a topic. I just mentioned it. I said, before you blame eBay, just consider the fact that it may be your user error that got these items that you thought were listed that were actually never listed. And the reason I said that was because I used to, I don't do this anymore, but I used to take pictures of all these items and list them from my pictures on my phone. Now I do it differently. I do this with, I make sure if there's pictures being taken, they're going directly into drafts. And then I list from the drafts when I'm out and about watching my kids' practices or whatever it is I'm doing. When my wife's driving the car, I might get some listings in, whatever. And sure enough, I would go back and I would look way back in my phone and they just got buried and they just never got listed. It didn't happen very often, but it did happen. And sometimes when I was deleting pictures, I would accidentally delete the next batch of pictures thinking that they were listed. And so I just assumed that even those strange accounts were probably my fault. Plus eBay will delist items. They usually send you an alert and tell you I've had 3 delisted over the last few months. And then you know, and then you've got to go pull that item or do whatever you want with it. And when I said that, boy, I had a ton, as I'm sure I will in this video, of people tell me, hey, I know for a fact I listed this thing. So I'm not being dogmatic about this. I think it may be a combination of both things, but I truly believe, at least in my case, that most of these items that have never sold that were sitting in there for, well, I shouldn't say that. Most of the items that I found weren't listed obviously hadn't sold. I believe most of them are my mistake. Now, since I've changed over to this new method here, I've had none of the, now it hasn't been that long, but I've had none of that happen. All of those items that weren't listed on eBay that I thought were listed on eBay, they were old items. They weren't anything new. And we went through all of the items, old and new. So, I don't know. I want to get your opinion on it. There's probably a few more scenarios we'll go over here in the course of this video and talk about this in particular and get some feedback from you guys in the comments. Speaking of getting torn up in the comments, when this video comes out in a week or so on Picker, I'm sure I will for this one too. Because I think it was an older gentleman. Well, I know it was an older gentleman. But I think he was asking $25 for this cane. And I offered him $15 and he took it. I think that's how it went down. It's been a couple weeks since it happened, but it's a cool old cane. But when I looked at the markings, and he knew this, by the way, it says sterling. There it is right there. It says sterling silver. I had my little loop. I didn't need the loop for this one, to be honest with you, but I used the loop anyways because I was trying to find a brand on it. There's some letters right there, assuming it's maybe his initials. I don't know. But he said he had it forever. And I see some of these canes with sterling silver on the top, and I assume on the bottom too, although I wasn't sure. And I see these and they can go for crazy money, hundreds of dollars. And then I see some that sell for like $50. And this one had no marking or brand name on it. So I listed it for $100. And I got offers like 50, 75, whatever. And I'm like, no, there's a lot of interest. I'll just keep it out there. And eventually it sold for $100 plus shipping. And I think I paid him $15. So when I show that comp on the screen, people are going to shred me. But it's only because I just didn't know. I thought if the top dollar on it was $50, then 15 sounds a lot better than 25 to me, plus shipping. By the way, I'm feeling really good about this process. A few more of the items that we delisted and relisted sold quickly. A couple of the items that weren't listed at all, we listed, and they have sold as well. I think a couple of them in today's video. I'll let you know in a minute. But this process has been going well. There is another scenario that I think happens from time to time, especially on multi-quantity items, where you will delist, or excuse me, somebody will buy something and then they cancel it before it's even shipped, or they ask you to cancel it. And I believe what happens is you can't relist that item, or it doesn't automatically relist the item for you. You need to do it manually, especially if it's something that is a multi-quantity. You got to go back and add the quantity. Then you end up with one thing left. I know 2 of these 8 things, that's exactly what happened with them. They sold out of quantity, but somebody had bought and canceled. So there's other scenarios where you may think, and look, I'm not, if you watch this channel, I'm not opposed to blaming eBay when I think eBay's doing something wrong. I just fancy myself being fair in the process. Maybe that's why I didn't get invited to San Jose like some of these folks did. But I'm not bitter. I wouldn't have gone anyways. Any rate, there are some other scenarios that could occur, but I know there's a lot of people in this audience who have done what I'm doing now, and you find items that are not listed, and I wonder what your opinion is of it. This is a nice set of saddlebags, motorcycle saddlebags that I picked out of down there, so that's going to make some room for sure. This is a set of saddlebags that I picked up. How you doing, bud? Peace, Poncho. That I picked up for $15, and they have been sitting around for a while. I think I had it listed at 100, so we decided to drop it to $89.95, and we got a sale. Still good profit, a lot of space saved. Of course, there's the opposite scenario as well, which is you have things listed that you've already sold somewhere else or you don't have at all. And especially if you're a live seller, sometimes I'll pull something and I'll sell it. Like I was doing a media show, I considered pulling this one. It's the Diner. Got a little spider web on it, and it was sealed in the old big box, and I was like, oh, maybe somebody will pay, you know, $5-10 for it on a live or something. But I decided not to in the end. There's a little side seal, and I just lowered the price $1 or $2, and this VHS sold, and it sold for $14 plus shipping. The next item sold so fast that I didn't even get it to where it would normally go. It sold, and I'll hang it up here and I'll ship it tomorrow. And it was only a $1 purchase at a sale, but I decided to list it anyways. I bought it during the Olympics, and I was like, well, it should sell real quick, and then I just didn't get it up. But that is Team Apparel Olympics little, I don't know, tank top. Sold for $12.95, I think. What it sold for, plus shipping. Next item is one of those items that Dawn picked up on their trip across America, Lady Arbitrage and American Arbitrage. and decided she didn't want to take it home with her. So it was part of the batch she sold to me. And Dawn, if you're listening, I almost told you no on this one just because I was dreading the day it would sell and I had to ship it. So I decided I would price it fairly low for this MCM little fan wall art and just make myself sell it, make myself ship it, and save myself the space. That sold for $36 plus shipping, but I am not looking forward to it. So going through that process, you know, I did find those 8 items. Almost knocked that fan over. And one of them was a giant stapler that had been taking up a ton of space. One of those office ones. I don't have the light on back here, do I? Better turn that on real quick. There we go. And the ASP wasn't very good on it anyway, so I just decided not to relist it. So, but this one, see, this is one of our next shelves. Probably in the next week or so, we'll get to this because this is a mess. This could be done better. I can't even get that up. So it was nice to see. I think I have another sale. I think it might be a bonanza sale from over here as well on the 30% off sale before I even have to deal with the rest of that stuff. This is a Ravensburger puzzle. I was not going to buy it at a sale, and I was walking away from it. And the guy said, how about 50 cents? And I was like, all right. And it was listed forever. And then 30% off, and it sold for $11.90 plus shipping. And the next item kind of leads me to the cross-listing equation. There's a lot of folks who cross-list and manually delist stuff, and they forget from time to time. And so you'll have something listed on a site that you don't have anymore. That's the inverse of what we're talking about. But there are all kinds of things, you know, we think we're doing things sometimes, and in the end we fail to. And that's me for sure. I'm a note taker. I write down lists and stuff, but I still forget stuff. Boy, I used to sell these Scrabble games during COVID. Holy moly, you get like 60 bucks for them. And then it's steadily gone down. This one had a box issue with it, but everything was intact. And I paid $1 for it at a sale, and it sold on Bonanza. Sold for $32.62 plus shipping. Might as well do the next Bonanza sale as well. And I think it is right here. I was glad this one sold. Another bulky one. This is another item that used to be a staple for me and has not been for a long time. So I've avoided picking them up unless they're pristine and dirt cheap. And this little Don Vier yogurt maker, or what is it? An ice cream maker. Sorry, they do have yogurt makers. Sold for $29.65 plus shipping on Bonanza. Somebody was behind the door. I hope I didn't knock your noggin. Hope that was your butt. Anyway, this right here, I'll give you a treat for that. Sorry, buddy. This Petra shirt, if you've been watching this channel for 3 years, I've been selling these off. I bought tons of them. I think I paid $0.25 a piece. Maybe 50 cents max, but they're Petra, Back to the Rock Christian band. They're not vintage, they're modern because it was from a later tour. You can see how old they are. But they have sold steadily. I considered taking these and putting what was left on commons, but there's only like 8, so I'm like, just forget it. 30% off discount will do. And this one sold to a viewer, sold for $10.46 plus shipping. All right, there is a message from this viewer, and I'm glad I read it beforehand. Well, I'll just read it to you. It says, Kevin, I have been a huge Petra fan for years. I've been reselling for a while, but I took a break for a bit. One of your videos inspired me to do it again. I work in a high school as a mental health counselor. That's a job right there. For the kids, I imagine, but I suppose some of the teachers might need it. I resell part-time to help with medical bills. I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, a blood cancer, in 2020. After a stem cell transplant see, I can hardly do it now, and I've already read it. Transplant in 2021, my cancer was in remission. I found that it has returned. Please pray for me and my family as we continue to battle. God is faithful. Kev Lee Bob. Kevin will do exactly that. $10.46 plus shipping, and it is headed to you. Thank you so much for the support. I gotta head out to the other cabin, but I just wanted to, I kind of read it quickly, and I think this deserves more. So Kev is K-E-V-L-E-E-B-O-B, Kev Lee Bob. That is the eBay. I assume it's a store, but it may not be a store, so thank you. All right, here it is. I thought I'd show it to you. A little Blanco glass, tiny little ashtray. This one sold for $15.95, plus shipping, of course. And another viewer sale. I think we had a total of 4 out of our 23 eBay sales anyways. It was this kite. I picked it up at the 100 mile yard sale. I think I paid $5 for it. It had the tag on it. Prism Kite Technology, and that one sold for $45 plus shipping. And it went to Roxanne. So Roxanne's been buying from us for a long time. We appreciate you very much. And she just said thank you, and I love the videos. We appreciate you as well, and I hope you enjoy that. It's a pretty cool little kite. I don't know. I've just never been used, so I don't even know what it looks like when it's all folded out. But that's Prism is a high-end brand apparently for kites, and some of them can go for really, really good money. Keep an eye out for that. A couple things here. We did have a Shop Commons sale, and just along the lines of those Petra shirts, I had a few of those left, but not a ton. I did have a bunch of those Eagles left, and there were 12 of those Eagles t-shirts, jerseys, women's, men's. And we had sold a bunch of them off over time, and I thought, you know, I could probably just keep them out there, see what we can sell as the season starts. But I decided to list them on Shop Commons, and they sold very quickly. 12 t-shirts. I got them all for free, sold for $32 plus shipping. They should probably quadruple their money on there. Well, it just depends. Maybe at least 3 times their money, including the shipping cost. Which, by the way, I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it now. I'm pretty comfortable right now asking buyers to go over to shopcommons.net. You know, before, all the good stuff would sell really, really quickly. We've added some sellers, and there are, you know, some things lasting longer over there. The sell-through rate has been insane, and I'm so excited. And I really think there's a lot of buyers who will succeed, especially folks who are non-traditional resellers. And there are lots over there to make money on, for sure, especially when sourcing goes down in the winter. There's a lot of stuff that a lot of people look be like, I don't want anything to do with that. And that's fine too. But there's some weird stuff selling that people are saying, hey, this is perfect for my antique booth. You know, I have 4 antique booths. One of them is X, and I just put it in there and I make money slowly over time. There's all kinds of good deals over there that pop up throughout the day. So go check it out, shopcommons.net, if you're a buyer interested in buying more inventory. We have absolutely killed it with all this homeschool stuff. This was a strange one. There was only one of these. It wasn't a multi-quantity because it was a teacher's edition, and I decided it was probably still worth listing at $10 plus shipping. I'm glad I did because it sold. It took a little while, but $10 plus shipping on that. I paid $20 for the entire basket full of stuff, and we were in the profit after 2 sales, so, or one sale. So I'll take that sale. Just dawned on me. I'm filming this the next day after I filmed the last one, and I said the 80stees.com t-shirt giveaway I'd announce on this video. It's going to be on the next video. My apologies, but I'll announce who won that on the next video because that video just came out and there's not enough people who have had the chance to submit their comment for it. So wanted to say that. And also about Shop Commons, just to clean that up a little bit. The folks that are selling the most of it, I mean, I've sold 95% of the listings that we list. If we list something, it usually sells in a day. And there's 4 listings I think we've posted that have been around a while. Apparently they're not a good enough deal or they haven't found the right buyer. But the folks who are having success are because they're leaving meat on the bone for somebody else down the road, getting the quick sale. And that's what we're trying to do. So keep that in mind if you're a seller over there. If you want to list 15 things and not have them sell, then don't put it at a price where somebody can't make money off it in some marketplace, antique booth, media shop, Amazon sellers are over there buying, and, you know, eBay sellers as well. And it just depends on what the item is and how much money they can make on it. That's where you're going to get your sales. And if you want to get rid of volume quickly to focus on what you are selling, then that's the right strategy. Glad to get another purse out of here, or bag. This was just one that I picked up. It was unbranded, and it had mushrooms on it, and I saw it, and I'm like, somebody's going to buy that, probably a viewer, because I love mushroom stuff. I don't know why. I don't do mushrooms, y'all, I promise, but I do love mushroom stuff. It's just kind of cool. I'm a little surprised this hasn't sold yet. I must have it too high priced. Or maybe eBay delisted it. I don't know. But this one was $1, and I'm like, yeah, throw that guy in there. Somebody will buy it. And a viewer did buy it, and that viewer was a teacher. Just the kind of thing a teacher would bring stuff to school with, right? Thank you, Kevin, from a still working teacher and part-time reseller. Is that a slight that I'm not a still working teacher? I'm kidding. Love your flipper videos. Keep up the great content. Allison, thank you very, very much. And it's a tough job out there for sure. So $12.30 and that mushroom bag is headed to you. If you used to watch this show, you used to see me pick up Liberty University stuff all the time. And it's for a couple reasons. One is it's a close by university here. This is a Nike dry fit. I passed up on a ton of this stuff at the last sale. I used to buy it all the time and sell stuff for $10 plus shipping. But I passed up on a bunch and just kept the stuff Nike dry fit with no problems on it. And had the emblem, had Boca Raton Bowl here. And I'm like, I can get 15 for that minimum, so I'm going to buy it for $1. And I'm glad I did, because it sold for $15.15 after an offer, plus shipping. And I left all that other stuff behind. I just wasn't going to deal with $10 sales. But this university is kind of unique in the fact that most people who go to it don't live in the area right around it. They live in different places across the country, so they can't always access the merch. Like if you went to some, you know, state school, a lot of those people, there's so much of that merchandise around, you can find it very easily just right around you in thrift stores and stuff. But a lot of people who go there live in California, Texas, you know, Michigan, wherever, and to access it cheap, eBay's a place to go. So, but I still have slowed down buying that stuff. And they had a good football team last year, expected to have a decent one this year, so I picked that stuff up for $1, and I suspect I'll sell most of it very quickly for around $15 plus shipping. Does anybody have something around their place where they live, their home, that is desired by people in other places across the country, but the only place you can really access it is right there? I'd love to know those in the comments. We can't steal that information if you can basically only get it there. But there are a few. We have a pottery place that's right around here. I find pottery from them all the time. It just doesn't have a huge sell-through rate. I thought there was 3 in this batch of Tupperware. Let me go look real quick. Yeah, there is 3. So one of these is not like the other. I think it's this that's sold. But I'll have to double check. And it's not much, but I'm into this for, you know, max $3, probably less than that. And it sold for $19 plus shipping. It has been over a year, almost a year and a half, not quite, since that Family Guy buy, and almost all of it is gone, and there's one more piece that's out the door. And this actually brings up another point. This one sold for $17.46. It went out on a 30% off sale. And that one actually says repeat buyer. So Tom, if you're a viewer, thank you. Which would make 5 of these 23 eBay sales to viewers. And then of course the Bonanza sales, which are not to viewers. And the point is this, I get a lot of messages from folks. It looks like the tide may be turning. I'll probably talk about this on the next video. And a lot of the folks who follow me are similar to what I sell, which makes sense, right? If you're selling industrial tools or something, you're like, I don't want to watch this guy. And so for me, my sales do really, really well in Q4 and leading up to Q4. But they are not the type of thing, a lot of times, that do well in the summertime. And I've had a lot of people tell me in the summer, my sales are crazy good and whatever. And I'm like, what are you selling? And they'll inevitably tell me things that aren't necessarily Q4 type things. So if your sales haven't been terrific and you sell the type of stuff I sell, you should see an uptick in Q4. And I think those other type of sellers, they really don't see a downward swing very often. And if they do, they see it in Q4 because people are taking their money and spending it on gifts and things like that. But that's just something I wanted to get out there, because a lot of people hear that X or Y or Z are having amazing sales. What's wrong with me? Sometimes there's nothing wrong with you at all. It's the merchandise that you sell and you like to sell. And there are ebbs and flows to it. All right, now I see what it is. So Tom, actually, he's a repeat buyer because he bought 2 things and he is a viewer. So I'll go back to the four viewer sales. Because Tom actually bought 2 things. So Tom, thank you, and I'll go grab that. But let me read your comment really quick for the second item. Hey, thank you. Love your shows. Watch all the time and often put your advice into motion. It has become, I try not to give advice, to be honest with you, but I just try to share my own experience, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I give advice, I suppose. But I like to take it from you guys more than I like to give it. And boy, when you put out picker video channels, I've had people like, you're an idiot, you pass this up, you pass this up. Even that glass video that people are like, why didn't you get this? Why didn't you get this? And I just like, I'm early on in this stage. I don't want to make huge mistakes. I want to take my wins where I can get them and learn, and then I don't want to end up with a bunch of stuff that I paid for that's just not worth selling. So I'm going to make mistakes for sure. So we all do. And where did I leave off? It has become a crucial part of our own store's success. Well, thank you. Thanks a bunch and keep it coming. Tom and Amanda at TC Pickers. Thank y'all very much. Let me go get your other item. And it is either in my Motu bin or it's back here with the rest of the G.I. Joe stuff. And it's back with the rest of the G.I. Joe stuff. And it's got the 2 little missiles in there. This is obviously a Cobra vehicle, but I don't know what this one is called. G.I. Joe Cobra Hydro Sled, 1986 complete. And it's sold at 30% off, $16.07 plus shipping. Hey, after most of the shipping is done, I realized I skipped past one. This is one of those bandanas. Kevin Nash, WCW NWO. That one sold on clearance, $9.07 free shipping. And I almost forgot this 50/50 charity auction right here for all 3 of them over on dibdit.com is ending, I think, today. So go check it out. All right, Ring, we sold 7 more of those blacklight keychain flashlights, Commonwealth picker that you did over on Dibdit. So I think, I don't know, last time I said they'd be on CommonwealthPicker.com, but they're not yet. This dog has been sleeping on this floor while I packed all this stuff right here. That's that big old fan. What a pain in the butt. Any rate, so who are you thanking today?
Vicky got a trash to cash tumbler.
Trash to cash tumbler. Vicky got that. And you have a poncho.
I got mine.
Thank you, Vicky. Vicky says she's not even a reseller, and she loves the Trash to Cash podcast and this show. You do too, but it's time for bed, huh?
Yep. Bye, and don't forget your stickers at CommonwealthPicker.com.
All right, Turner's got a joke for you, a little Commonwealth comedy. What you got for us?
What do you get from a pampered cow?
What do you get from a pampered cow? I don't know what.
Spoiled milk.
Thank you.
Bye.